Hello, guys, and welcome. Welcome to the seminar. Today, I want to talk about a few things. I'm not going to talk about the six ghosts of fear like we did last week, but I want to talk about something very, very different and something interesting. I'm so happy to be talking about this because I feel like our generation needs to hear this type of information because this is a lively type of information. As I said last week, about the fear of poverty of kids going through school and the first job that they find they want to go to without understanding the job, without understanding that do they really want to be in that type of jobs. And today we have kids going to libraries, filling in forms. And when you look at the form that they're filling in, they're asking for the CVs and the references and those type of things. And you can see that the way these things are designed, they're designed for people to still be unemployed. But in a general sense, I remember my mentor saying, Jorge, there's no such thing as unemployment because you can employ yourself. You do not need to wait on your employer to employ you because you can employ yourself. We have been, my mentor, Mr. Sten, said this again, that we have been brainwashed for over 500 years. You know, they took the things that were working for us and they gave us things that are not working for us. Today we have people expecting miracles, just waiting, expecting miracles to happen. We are productive, we can produce, and we can work hard, and whatever you can think about, you can produce. You just need to believe and to have the necessary persistence. So in a nutshell, there's no such thing as unemployment because you can employ yourself. You do not need to wait on your somebody to employ you so that you can begin to work on yourself. In these seminars, we teach on working on yourself. The most beautiful thing that can happen to you is to work on yourself. So today I have some points that I want us to discuss and welcome. So please like and subscribe for more of these thoughts. Today I want to talk about some ideas that are pretty wonderful, challenging, thought-provoking also. So I want to talk about laws. You know, we live in a world that has laws. Today, if you go to school, they'll tell you about the laws of physics and the laws of science and the laws of everything. You know, during the past week, I've been watching YouTube videos upon space and Mars and things like that. And then you see, for us to be able to create things like rockets so that they could go to space and go to other planets, we needed to obey physical laws. Today on Earth, there's the law of gravity. The law of gravity holds everything in place. Today, if I take this pen and I let it go, it falls down. Why? The law of gravity is always pulling things down. So this law, whether you like it or not, it is a law of gravity. If right now you were to go on top of a high building and you jump, Uzowa, you will fall down there. Why? Because the law of gravity. The law doesn't care whether you are black or white, young or old, good or bad, rich or poor. The law is the law. And fortunately and unfortunately, we have to obey these laws. I made a post recently on two books that I would recommend that you read. I would recommend that you read The Secret by Rhonda Bryan and Think and Courage by Napoleon Hill. These books are awesome. Napoleon Hill also dives upon these laws. You know, in order to be successful in life, you need to follow certain laws that are universal. For you to do anything in your life that needs to work, you need a law. You need to follow certain laws. Uh, there are laws governing success, laws governing finance, laws governing health, laws governing well-being, laws governing peace of mind, laws governing government, laws governing the world that we live in. And for many people out there, they do not know these laws concerning success and health and well-being. When you begin to think and go rich, you get a glimpse of the success of life, of peace, of having a happy home, of harmony. These laws are essential. They work everywhere and they work. Everyone today who's successful in this life has used these laws of finance. Whether they are conscious or not conscious, but they have used these laws. You know, the laws that I'm talking about, sometimes you employ them, but you are not aware that, oh, I was employing this law. Like, for example, I remember Napoleon Hill talked about decision. He said decision is a principle that is essential. He said Henry Ford was successful because he had the habit of reaching decisions very fast when he had the facts, and of changing those decisions very slow. Unsuccessful people, poor people, people that are wanting too much, have the habit of reaching decisions slow and of changing them fast. So if right now you come up to a successful person and you ask him or her, how do you do this? They'll tell you, no, I do make decisions. I make decisions very fast when I have the facts, and I change decisions slowly. You see, for example, if you come up to a person and you ask, how do you become successful? He'll tell you this and that, this and that. But when you see how that certain person makes his decisions, you will see that this person makes his decisions very fast when he has the facts and changes them very slow. So they are employing these principles, but they are not aware. So these are the laws that I want to talk about. We have the law of attraction, of which it says, whatever you think about, you attract to yourself. And on talking about the law of attraction, I want to talk about the mind. You know, the mind is a very powerful thing in itself. The mind is so powerful. The mind is a powerful habit in itself. Many people treat the mind as, there was a wise philosopher who said something. He said, to live a successful life, you need to take care of your mind, you need to take care of your soul, and lastly, you need to take care of your body. Today, I'm under the weather, guys. I'm in MLO. I'm under the weather, but I'll be good. You need to take care of the mind, meaning you need to read every day. In our seminars, we teach that you need to read every day. Reading is a essential part of life. You need to read every day. And when I say read, I'm not talking about fiction. No, I'm talking about always studying these laws of nature that will be essential to your health. Right now, as I'm speaking, I live by the laws every day. My life is successful and it's good. And I live by these laws that are so wonderful. The mind is so powerful. So when you speak about the mind, whatever that you want and whatever that you believe you could do, you would do it if you believe you could do it. For centuries, the Wright brothers believed that they could build an airplane. Nobody around them believed, but they believed that they could build an airplane. And what's the result? They built an airplane because they believed and they were persistent, and also they followed the laws. So the mind is so powerful. So you tend to see when people wake up, and maybe you wake up having a bad day, you can always change your mind. Change your mind to something positive. Change your mind to, for example, you could listen to music. Just play your favorite music. Change your mood, change your shift, and begin to attract these wonderful things. So when we talk about the mind, there's two parts of the mind. When we focus specifically on emotion, there are two distinct emotions in the mind. There's a negative emotion and also there's a positive emotion. So when we find that when we dwell on positive emotions, our life expands. We become more healthier, more in harmony with our friends, and we attract more. But when we dwell on these negative emotions such as fear, when you are in a hurry, you're not in a good state, when you are unhealthy, when you are fearful, when you are angry, when you have jealousy, these are all the types of emotions that are not needed in your mind. But the emotions that are really needed in your mind, they are positive emotions such as being happy, such as being grateful, such as seeing abundance everywhere, such as greeting the other person next to you. Those are the emotions that are needed in your mind because your mind is so powerful. You need to take care also of your mind. You take care of your mind by reading every day. That is how you take care of your mind, by reading every day. Wallace Wattles said something that is wonderful here. He said, I have said that men get rich by doing things in a certain way. And in order to do so, men must become able to think in a certain way. A man's way of doing things is the direct result of the way he thinks about things. To do things in a way you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step towards getting rich. To think what you want to think is to think truth regardless of appearances. So you need to learn to acquire the habit of thinking how you want to think. I understand that we live in a world of crisis. Problems are everywhere. Bob Proctor used to say, if we would live a life without problems, we would be living a pretty dull life because problems gives us an opportunity to solve them. That's what problems do. They give us an opportunity to solve them, and they make us be dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction, also Bob Proctor says, it's a helpful tool because it makes you want to do more. It makes you want to overcome. But in order to acquire anything you want in your life, you need to be able to think how you want to think, despite seeing problems, despite seeing debt, despite seeing all these things. You need to acquire the ability to think how you want to think. And in order to acquire the ability to think how you want to think, you need to read every day and refreshen your mind. Because in order to get what you want to get, you have to think how you want to think. So the mind is highly powerful in personal development. Your mind is number one. I don't want to lie. It's number one in anything. Let me read this to you. Wallace Wattles also said that there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. We live in a universe of thoughts, Also, when we refer to the Bible, when God created this world, he thought about this world before he created it. So thought and mind, they go hand in hand, The universe is open to you. The world is open to you. What you have to do is to choose. And one of the ways of choosing what you want to do is prayer. When you pray and you ask God for what you want to do, it's a form of choosing. It's a form of asking. Sometimes another form of prayer is by your thoughts. If you are going to pray every day and wish for the good in life, but at the end of the day, every day you think negatively, how are you going to receive those things? When you ask for good, you need to also receive the good. You need to also thinking about the good, regardless of appearances. So that is also the mind, conditioning your mind to think good thoughts, to always stay on the positive plane. Positive thoughts are everything, guys. So you can also think by your thoughts. You think by your thoughts, okay? You think by your thoughts. You think by your thoughts. You attract. You want this. That's praying. That's praying. Most of the time, my girlfriend likes to ask me, I don't see you pray. I don't see you pray. I say, no, I'm praying. I'm praying with my thoughts, because I always keep my thoughts nourished by reading book. I keep my thoughts nourished by thinking of the problems I want to solve, by thinking of what I'm going to receive. That's a part of prayer. And a part of prayer, again, is gratitude. You need to be grateful for everything that you have in life. You need to be grateful. How are you expecting to receive more without being grateful? Gratefulness is number one. When you wake up every day, just thank the Almighty, thank the universe, thank God for all that you have, Gratefulness. Gratefulness is everything. You need to be grateful. Whether you feel like you are being grateful, you don't feel like being grateful, you need to be grateful. We are always going to be here, try to reaching out and helping you guys. The seminars are not going to stop. We are still going to teach. The ideas are a lot. There are laws are a lot. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The ideas never end. We could speak the whole day. In our seminars, we teach this kind of topics like the laws, the mind, and gratitude. I felt like this week, these are the things I needed to speak about. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, see you next week. Bye-bye.